Welcome to another episode of News Dose, everybody. Today we'll be going over recent news. Apparently RGG Studios might have a brand new game and fans are speculating it could be Lost Judgment 3. PlayStation's lineup for 2024 is shaping up to be amazing, even if they do not have major first-party titles. And Microsoft and Xbox were recently part of a controversy regarding AI. I'll be talking about that and how that could affect gaming in the future, considering Microsoft has always been future-proofing themselves and forward-thinking. And lastly, Blizzard renegotiated a deal to bring all of their games back to China with NetEase. Alright, let's get right into it. First up, we have RGG Studios, the studio behind the Yakuza series as well as Super Monkey Ball. Apparently, Famitsu asked 163 game creators about their aspirations for 2024. And the representative for RGG Studios, the executive producer, Masayoshi Yokoyama, had this to say. What a fourth year, man. Year of the Dragon. We are very pleased to be able to release our new work, Ryuga Gotoku 8, in such a year. I can't wait to see the release now, but I hope to be able to make another big announcement in 2024. Stay tuned for 2024 at RGG Studios. Now, fans are speculating that this could be a possible Lost Judgment 3 release, considering Lost Judgment 1 came out in 2018 and then Lost Judgment 2 came out in 2021. It is following a 3 to 4 year development release cycle, so a possible 2024 announcement could lead into a 2025 release. However, this isn't the only speculation from fans. They're speculating that since Sega is working on reviving a lot of their older IPs like Jet Set Radio, Crazy Taxi, Golden Axe, and considering RGG Studios has come out and said that they do not want to be known for just making Yakuza games, so they would also love to branch out and work on new IPs or work on older titles as well. So considering these two things, fans are speculating that it could be one of Sega's older IPs, and it could be RGG Studios' spin on Sega's IPs. But it is also possible that it could be one of their older titles like Binary Domain or Super Monkey Ball. We should also consider that there are a lot of Yakuza games and a lot of spin-offs, but there is also a possibility that it could also be Virtua Fighter or something completely new, a brand new IP. We should also keep in mind that Sega is working on a super game, as they like to call it. So RGG Studios could be one of the lucky few who gets to be able to help with its development process. Whatever it is, I believe it's going to be a huge announcement in 2024, and it would lead into a 2025 release. Alright, moving on here. Speaking of games, we've currently got the announcement of PlayStation Plus's games for January. We have a Plague Tale Requiem for the PS5, Evil West for the PS5 and the PS4, as well as Nobody Saves the World for the PS5 and PS4. These are great games, and it seems that since Plague Tale was on Game Pass, I believe Xbox likes to do 1-year contracts, where after a year they could remain on Game Pass, but they're also free to be able to go on other services. And I believe that's what's happening here. But speaking of PlayStation games, their 2024 lineup just got better. We currently have Last of Us 2 Remastered planned for January 19th, Tekken 8 for January 26th, Helldivers 2 for February, Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth for February, followed by Foam Stars, Rise of the Ronin, Stellar Blade, and Destiny 2. Yes, recently, Stellar Blade just got confirmed for a 2024 release somewhere between Rise of the Ronin on March and Destiny 2's Final Shape expansion in June. But again, despite their lack of brand new first-party titles, their 2024 roadmap for the first half looks amazing. Rise of the Ronin and Final Fantasy, I believe, will be the heavy sellers for the first half of the year. Alright, let's move on to our big topic of the day. If you remember back to November 2022, Blizzard announced that a lot of their servers and services would be shutting down in China because their licensing agreements came to an end with NetEase because it was expiring. And when January came by, a lot of these services and servers were shut down. and Chinese gamers were unable to play a lot of the Activision Blizzard titles because there wasn't anyone there to publish these games. According to NetEase, whilst Blizzard was trying to negotiate a 6-month extension, they were also seeking other publishers, and because of this, NetEase felt that it was unfair and unequal. However, it's not all doom and gloom because Blizzard are partnering with NetEase again. However, it's being reported on the Chinese site 36KR that it could take up to 6 months for these servers to be back up and running. As you know, Diablo 4 released this year and Chinese gamers were unable to play it. So when the servers are back and this partnership has started back up again officially, there will be a huge influx of players on Diablo 4. Considering it's on Game Pass, it should also have a huge boost of subscribers to Game Pass, so it's a win-win for Microsoft at the end of the day. Now, this ties in with the FTC investigation because at the time, FTC was arguing that it's very anti-consumer for Microsoft to purchase Activision, but they will not look at this case properly and they will probably avoid this piece of evidence where it's probably because of Microsoft that Activision Blizzard, or Blizzard in particular, was able to partner up with NetEase again and for Blizzard to bring these games back to Chinese gamers. If anything, that to me is very consumer friendly because they are sticking to their promise of bringing these games to millions and millions of players. The interesting part here is that because it's going to be a new partnership still with NetEase, I wonder what the difference will be between now and back then. I'm wondering whether the mobile games would be part of the agreement because we know Activision Blizzard purchase was about mobile. So to have them bring these games to China will be huge for Microsoft and Xbox. We know that Microsoft and Xbox are working on a mobile platform. They're working on a mobile store. So to have that influx of Chinese gamers, again, it'll be huge for Microsoft and Xbox. We know that according to a recent data that mobile gaming equates to about 49% of the revenue for gaming. That's close enough to half the revenue, and a huge proportion of that is from COD Mobile, from Candy Crush, and from Diablo Immortal. So to have these games in the hands of millions of gamers, it's just going to bolster Microsoft's revenue at the end of the day, and this revenue will then be put back into Xbox and will be put back into Game Pass, and at the end of the day it will be better for the ecosystem and it will be better for gamers because we will be getting more and more value out of it. Speaking of Microsoft and Xbox, both companies, weirdly enough, within a few days were part of a controversy that relates to AI. Let's start with Microsoft first. What it boils down to is essentially New York Times filing a lawsuit against Microsoft, and they're claiming that when you ask ChatGPT about recent events or current world events, it generates verbatim excerpts from New York Times' articles. The problem here is that they're claiming that you cannot access these articles without a subscription, and apparently Microsoft has found a way to be able to feed ChatGPT these articles for ChatGPT to learn. Now, we know that ChatGPT, as well as other large language model AIs, they learn by analyzing data, and the data is often articles. So the lawsuit essentially is claiming that Microsoft used it unfairly and without paying for it. They're also claiming that Bing search engine produces results that is also taken from New York Times' articles, but Bing doesn't link it to the article or quote the article or refer to the article at all. As for Xbox, they used an AI generated piece of artwork as an attachment for a tweet by Idea Xbox, which essentially tweeted a question asking for gamers' favorite indie games of the year. The community wasn't happy about it because they feel as though it was a bit cheap. It's a new low for Microsoft, or Xbox in particular, because the account that tweeted it was Idea Xbox. And if you don't know, Idea Xbox is an initiative where Xbox partners or helps independent developers publish their games, fund their games, bring their games to Game Pass if that's something on the table. It's about fostering a good working relationship, about supporting them, building up goodwill, not only with the developers, but with also the gamers. And to use something as low as generating AI just goes against everything Idea Xbox stands for. Now, my problem here is that whilst I agree with the concerns of the community and the sentiment behind it, we also need to understand that it might not have been because of saving money or not hiring someone. It could have been that some poor intern didn't have the time necessary to be able to create a piece of artwork, so he resorted to using AI. And I believe that's the future. AI, as we can already see, is becoming more and more important. Microsoft invested heavily into their own AI service, so why not use it? As I've said, it shouldn't take jobs away. It should lessen workloads, make things more efficient for developers. We know that the games industry, especially as a job, is such hard work. There's constant crunches, and if AI can come in here and lessen that workload, it's not only good for the mental health of developers, but also the physical health. As I've said, it shouldn't take jobs away. It should make jobs easier for people. And we know people are using AI to do multiple things. Like, for example, someone's using AI to write script, dialogue for Skyrim, and then using another AI to put that script through that AI to speak it out. It's a speech AI, and then using that speech within Skyrim. And every NPC dialogue feels dynamic. It feels natural. Albeit there is a delay, but this is just the start. AI is the future in gaming, and the possibilities are endless, but we should also keep things grounded, figure out what we can and shouldn't do. This is unexplored territory, and I believe caution is advised. But at the end of the day, the important thing here is, I've said it multiple times, it should lessen workload. It should help developers with smaller tasks. Like if you need to be able to create a spreadsheet or make a presentation, just use AI, because at the end of the day, it's there to help you. It shouldn't take those jobs away from those people. Anyway, that's the episode for today. Not much happening considering it's the new year soon, as well as Christmas and New Year holidays. But what's your opinion on AI in the gaming industry? And what's your opinion on the PS4 lineup? What game do you think RGG Studios is working on? Leave your comments down below. I will read everything. As per usual, if you would like more daily video game updates, hit that bell button to be notified when I next upload.